from the Nevermore is pretty much effectively cancelling any use that Lich has and Pugna has in the team fight, especially with his 10-second charge being used now. He's got a 9-second charge left, and DTS now going to roam bot. So failure in a team fight for God. DTS really being super successful at the moment, and they're transitioning very nicely from this early game into this late game, especially with all the DPS they can put down. Like I was trying to say, at the moment I'm not really impressed with the way Morphling has been played. Why don't I like the way Morphling has been played? Well, firstly, what the pros are doing is they're obviously going their normal wave 1 stats wave, and then wave 1 stats, and then going into maxing out your morph as early as possible. The problem with that is, firstly, it doesn't allow you a lot of early game DPS output or allow you to get a lot of kills. It does give you bonus survivability, agreed, but apart from that, it doesn't really give you much else. Also, it's a very defensively minded strategy, especially when you're in a tri-lane, and a tri-lane with enough disables, and to be successful here, we do see a hook coming onto this Vengeful Spirit. Is he going to survive? He does swap himself out expertly. Crystal Maiden's ulti going off. We see Earthshaker coming in with a stomp there, and we're going to see unfortunately Vampire does go down, but it's a really good swap over there. The Scourge team getting a bit separated here, popping the repel to cancel out Pugna's ulti, and he's just going to TP out of there and try to get out of there alive. We do see a Nevermore coming here from the background. He's going to try and probably pick off this Clockwork. He does land one raise on the Clockwork, but with that bonus armor from the Lich, he's pretty tank at the moment. He does pop his ultimate. Who's he popping his ultimate on? He pops it onto this Crystal Maiden. Is Crystal Maiden going to feed? Is Crystal Maiden going to feed? Crystal Maiden is going to feed. Crystal Maiden feeds, and now this Morphling is going to be under trouble. He's morphing a lot of stuff to strength, and he gets healed by a mech. Mech being picked up on the Pugna here. And so that seems to be the end of the team fight. Like I was trying to say, it's a very defensive mindset if you play the Morphling like that, and he's not able to lay down a lot of DPS. What I've also seen of recent is Morphlings initiating in team fight, which is pretty much the worst thing you can possibly do. Because what happens is Morphling waves into a team fight, then hold on, right clicks on your flipping morph to strength and starts morphing everything to strength. We're going to see it, Aegis attempt going down here, morphing everything to strength, and then by the time he's finished initiating, he's lost all of his DPS output. Seems pretty counterintuitive to me if you want a Morphling to be your main DPS output in the game. The way I would play a Morphling, and the way that we do play Morphlings in my clan matches, is picking up early levels of stats and wave, and maybe 1 or 2 levels of morph. You can even start off with 1 level of morph, transition 1 or 2 points into agility, just so you have a bit better early base damage and a bit better early attack animation on the Morphling. Able to last hit a lot better, and then you can just level up stats and wave. Stats giving you that extra survivability, that extra HP anyway, give you a lot better damage to work with and a lot better mana pool as well, so it allows you to spam your wave a lot better, and especially in a tri-lane allows you to be a lot more aggressive. And then of course you can transition into picking up morph a lot later. The reason why why I think Morphling should be played like that is because he becomes much more aggressive in the early game and a much bigger tank, much bigger threat to be reckoned with. The problem is with Morphling, as soon as he transitions to being a tank Morphling, he loses all of his DPS output. If you level stats, he can be a tank Morphling as well as a DPS output Morphling, especially in the early game. And in the late game, obviously you'll have leveled up morph, so you don't really need to worry about it that much. Also, what I don't like at the recent, we do see a hook coming here onto this Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit does lay down Sunny, and we see an ultimate going off by Omni Knight. Vengeful Spirit swapping himself out here. Lich is actually bouncing like crazy. We do see Mirana leaping out of there as best as possible. Dread does pick up a kill, and he's unstoppable now, killing off that Clockwork because, well, you know what, Clockwork is going to be a nightmare, having a nightmare to deal with Dread here. However, Pugna does pick up a kill against that Earthshaker, and in fact, Light on the Pugna, on the Kitty does go down. So it's a successful defense of this bot lane tower here. By God, we do see Nevermore running in, and Nevermore now has picked up his Lothars, so that's going to be a big difference. Nevermore picking up his Lothars, firstly because he's got the gold, it does give him a lot more bonus DPS, also allows you much better survivability against this Morphling, Pugna, Lich, that sort of thing, because you can effectively run around with it. It gives you higher movement speed, that sort of thing. Also allows you to pull off your ultimate better and then use a BK afterwards, because you can Lothars in and then ulti and then pop your BKB. We do see him going to get caught. He's going to have to pop his BKB charge. He's got 8 seconds on the BKB. He's going to pop off an ultimate here, not really hitting anyone very successfully. He's just going to whack a couple of people around. He hasn't popped his BKB yet. Is he going to pop his BKB? No, he's going to get healed up here. And he's just going to TP out. Nevermore. Is Nevermore going to TP out? No, he's not going to TP out. He's probably waiting for his... He's got an egg, so he's not too worried about it. And everyone's just going to back out of there. So this is a much better item choice. Allows you to run around. With the Blink Tag, the fact is that Blink Tag doesn't allow you to escape team battles. It only allows you to initiate. And in this instance, Nevermore... With the escape, I prefer the escape anyway, the Lothar's Edge gives you. Also does allow you to pull off your ultimate much better and longer survivability in a team fight. So that's a good item choice by him. What I don't like about the item choice is where's purple, come over here, where are you purple? Muga, here's Muga. So he's going for the Lincoln Sphere first. And really it doesn't give you, yes it does give you more survivability, but when you're a Morphling, the whole point of your team is, the whole point of you is not to survive, the whole point of you is to deal physical damage. And the only way you can deal physical damage is if you pick up a physical damage item. So pick up a Diffusal Blade. You know, in this game you should be playing a Diffusal Blade first item instead. Why? It gives you DPS. Yes, that's pretty cool. What else does it give you? Oh wait, it gives you a Purge. Who's Purge good against? Purge is good against an Omni Knight. Pretty good choice to go on a Morphling here to pick up some early DPS and get a Repel. Seems like a pretty sweet deal to get 2 in 1. I'm not so sure. So, and really this Lincoln Sphere build annoys me that I've seen so much on Morphlings. Morphlings hasn't been as nearly effective as they were in the early game. Yes, you know, he can't replicate his own images, but so what? Doesn't mean the fact that you can't replicate your own images doesn't mean the fact that you can't be can't lay down effective DPS. You know, please just buy Diffusal Blade Mantis style and you'll just pawn DTS here. You know, counters this Omni Knight, counters this pretty much everyone in the team at the moment. Pugna getting swapped in here, getting healed by Dread, popping off his ultimate now. Earthshaker blinking in, has got a blink dagger up here, and Mana Boot, so he's going to be laying down a lot of damage. Earthshaker probably going to be going for the ulti stick neck. We see the Nevermore running in like a baller as he's not really caring because he's got a Aegis, so he's just going to come back on full HP, and this bottom tower is going to go down, and DTS is just going to keep hammering away at the bases because look where the creep line is at the moment. They're all so far pushed back. They don't really need to worry about dying or about, you know, trying to defend their own towers. They can afford to lose some towers in replace of taking a Rax. Also, I'd like to point out, we do see Morphling's just going to get hit down a couple of times here. Also, I'd like to point out that DTS is better late game than God is anyway, so they're not really too worried about feeding at the moment. Doing another quick creep check here, we have 70 creep kills now going on Light, so he's going to be going for his Mantis style now. 180 on this Nevermore, sitting with 2,300 HP, maybe going for a Butterfly, maybe going for an MKB. Dread on 71, but he's got so many kills, H for 2 at the moment, doesn't really matter. God sitting at 100, the Pugna, sorry, sitting at 117. He's going to go for his pipe now. Got his mech up first. Lincoln Sphere has been finished on Muga, sitting with 125 creep heals, and the Vanguard only being finished now on the Clockwork Goblin's head. So he's simply just not tank enough in this game. Also, Clockwork has also, just now that I'm thinking about it, not been a great success in recent games. Hasn't been the game-changing force that we have seen, and maybe the fact that we haven't seen him played in tri-lane, maybe the fact that we've seen him as a solo hero more recently has got to do with that. I personally don't agree with Clockwork as a solo hero. I think he's much better in tri-lane where he can get up early kills. That way he doesn't take creeps as farm, he doesn't need farm. You know, once he's at level 6 he should be getting his farm through killing people rather than through farming heroes, so that's what I personally think anyway. And the last hero I'd like to discuss here is this Crystal Maiden. And really, like I said, when teams pick Crystal Maiden, it just frustrates me. It frustrates me because you're basically saying to the team, well, to your opponent's team, we're happy to play this game 4v5. We're happy to try and win it that way. In the early game, the Crystal Maiden is fairly effective. I'll give her that. But in the mid and late game, she really is useless if she doesn't have any items whatsoever. This bot tower is probably going to go down now. Pugna putting down a ward just in some attempt as a defense. But this Crystal Maiden, we're going to see a swap going here onto the Pugna. This Vengeful Spirit just using her ultimate to swap people in effectively to be the initiator that their team needs, and we see this ultimate also being popped here by Earthshaker, awesome ultimate being popped by Potom, and an ultimate being popped by Nevermore. Arrow missing here onto the Clockwork, but Clockwork is going to go down anyway. He just hooks onto Vampire for absolutely no reason. Starfall going down. This push is just going to resume. Save being called, save being completed, and this top Rax is going down. And that's pretty much GG at the moment. We can see Nevermore probably going for MKB because he picked up a Demon Edge here. Doesn't have the high enough DPS at the moment to pick up a Breeze, and they're just going to whack down this tower in the mid lane here. Not much you can do at the moment, especially with the heal of the Omni Knight being there to support out. Level 3 Necrobook has been finished over here. Morphling is probably going to be going for his Mantis style next, but it's too late, especially when you got 2 Raxes down. It's really just too late to be able to do anything. Good save there on the Vengeful Spirit by Dread, putting up a repel here, got the Rax, and then they can simply just back out of there. Don't need much else apart from that. They're going to probably go heal up now at the moment, back off a little bit, heal up, and then come back and finish this game off, getting mega creeps, and then probably going to end the game. As soon as you get, like I said, as soon as you get 1 lane down, or even 2 lanes down here, ooh, hook cancelling Dread, and Dread does go down there. Unfortunately, he's playing like an absolute beast at the moment. I didn't know Clockwork's hook actually went through FU going off there by Dread. I didn't know Clock's ultimate actually went through repel, but now we do know that. God, Dread is dead. We had Dread is back, and now we have Dread is dead. So that's pretty funny. But like I was trying to say about Crystal Maiden earlier, sorry, like I said, I'm pretty tired, so I'm losing my train of thought. Also, doing commentaries once a week, you do sort of lose your knack a little bit, or whatever knack I had. Not saying I had any, I probably didn't, but yeah. So Crystal Maiden, really, I would prefer to see her maybe, you know, helping out in the early game, and then with her Brilliance Aura on maxed, she can pretty much roam into the bushes and to get some farm up, maybe pick up an early tread, pick up a Django. I really think like the idea of a Django on her in the new version. Maybe pick up an urn, a 4 staff,